Hello and welcome to the September 2012 edition of Local Image, coming to you from downtown Lake Elmo. And among many offerings, this quaint community boasts the ever-popular Lake Elmo Park Reserve and one of the best restaurants in Minnesota, the Lake Elmo Inn. A recent renovation of the restaurant and an upcoming annual charity event hosted by the owner of this fine establishment brings us inside the inn in this Local Image interview.
Well, it started 4 years ago when I went around the valley and challenged 6 other chefs to a cook-off. And we meet at the Lake Elmo Inn Event Center, that second Sunday of October, which is the 14th. And they each bring their best game. They each bring a small plate, which is a complete dinner on a small plate, because 7 meals would be just too much for any one person. But we think we got it down. And then we all try to do our best job to see who wins the award.
Because the award is very highly coveted.
Highly coveted, and gives you bragging rights for a complete year. And right now there's 3 different winners for 3 different years.
Awesome.
So it's being shared, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, list the restaurants that are participating if you could.
Well, Phil's Club Terra, the Lake Elmo Inn, Mark's Fusion Bistro, Smalley's Caribbean Barbecue, Damachin, and Luna Rosa in Stillwater, and then our friends in Hudson at San Pedro's Bar and Grill.
Those are all awesome restaurants, and I have had an opportunity to experience the small plates. It was plenty, and they were all so delicious. It's a tough thing to judge, isn't it, Karen?
It is, and well, actually the people end up getting to judge. I just get to count the votes. But it is, you know, it's my husband's favorite event of the whole year, and you are full by the time you leave there. It is almost too much to eat, but you just can't resist. You have to sample every plate, and it's tough to judge, and those chefs they're really competitive, so they bring their A game.
And you know, the beauty of it all is that this is a charity event. You guys are having a great time competing on this level that you're all so awesome at. These chefs preparing these awesome meals, but it's for a great cause. Can you tell us what it's for again?
It's for Canvas Health, which is formerly HSI, and I know you did a segment when it was HSI, and now it's Canvas Health. But Canvas Health's mission is to be the center of excellence for mental health, chemical health, and elderly health services, so they can bring hope and recovery to a lot of the people in the area.
And that organization's been around for a long time, doing great works, but what's an example of something that you can speak to so people understand how it really works, how it helps?
Well, they have the crisis phone line that people can call in when they're in times of need, and they also have safe transportation that they bring to the elderly people throughout the whole Twin Cities area. Anti-bullying, that's another thing that they brought into their services, and you can go to canvashealth.org, so you can see all of the services that they do provide.
It's a great charity event. Why is it so near and dear to your heart, John?
Well, working with Canvas Health, it goes back for me back when they used to do Meals on Wheels. And I used to be the place that the people of Lake Elmo got their Meals on Wheels was out of the Lake Elmo Inn. I haven't done it for a while, and when Joyce came and asked me what we can do, we came up with this program. And what makes this program very unique is that the chefs come up with 7 great meals, and then Andy Cass, formerly of Sutlers, marries his wines with those entrees, and that's what makes this unique. Any foodie in the Twin City would die to be at this event. Truly, it is one of the best events in the Twin Cities, and I do maybe 15 to 20 of them a year. This is the best by far of any of those groups.
And such a great festive event. Everyone's having fun. I mean, how can you not have fun when you're having good food paired with perfect wines and great company and prizes?
It's a win-win for everybody.
It's a win-win, especially for Canvas Health, a great organization. So we wish you guys all the best at this year's event, and we want to encourage all of you to get out and get your tickets for that event, because you don't want to miss it.
Hurry!
You can buy them at the restaurants that were mentioned.
Perfect.
So.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much. Always a pleasure.
Right.
Nice to see you again, and have a great event.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next segment features a Lake Elmo family that made national news when their story, as reported by Boyd Hoopert of KARE 11, went viral. The Olsons have been hosting a benefit fundraiser for cystic fibrosis for the past few years. We actually featured them in a local image story that we did at their home last year. Well, they were all set to host the event once again in their large backyard this past July, but something went terribly wrong, as explained in the KARE 11 story.
40,000 square feet.
What a nice patch of grass Rob Olson has grown.
2.5 acre lot.
Just not much of it left.
Well, if this is what you wanted to do, it sure worked.
Just over a week ago, Olson walked into his local garden center looking for weed killer. He says 3 employees consulted with him on his needs.
I bought 5 bottles at $35 a bottle.
But what he thought was weed killer contained a pre-emergent grass killer too. Sold in bottles, he believes contributed to both his and the employees' confusion.
This one is the everything killer. This one is the weed killer.
And it gets worse. Olson's 2 youngest sons have cystic fibrosis. His family hosts an annual fundraiser in their yard that raised $20,000 last year for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, a fundraiser set for later this month, now canceled.
How easy the grass is coming out.
Knowing this will turn to dirt and possibly mud.
They've determined that they can't put sod on it or that will die as well. We looked at probably 15 different places to try to find for that day, and I just couldn't find anything.
A spokesperson for Fertilome, the brand Olson purchased, told us the information he needed is in a booklet fixed to the back of the bottle. Olson found the precaution on the second of 8 pages.
Do not spray on desirable plants, do not use in lawns or lawn renovation.
But still he wonders, why not more upfront like this similar product he later found at the same store?
I think the packaging should say right on it, this will kill your lawn.
It will, and it did.
But that report wasn't the end of the Olson story. In fact, it helped spur on new growth from people interested in making sure the event wouldn't burn out like the sorry state of the Olsons' lawn. Late last month, the Breathe Easy 2 Music Festival took place, and to much fanfare, it was bigger in every way than anyone could have anticipated. And we were invited to come and capture the excitement.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. We just raised $8,000.
Finally, the event that maybe wasn't and was and maybe wasn't is actually happening. How do you feel?
It is happening. I'm excited, very excited. We've got some great talent and a lot of people. That's what it's all about, is raising money for cystic fibrosis.
And remind our folks here, you have a couple of sons. You know what it's like firsthand as a family to experience cystic fibrosis. Talk a little bit about the disease. What does it mean for a family, and what's on the horizon?
Well, first of all, I have an angel for a wife.
She is. Jill, you're an angel.
Thank you.
She makes sure those kids stay healthy and get their medications and things like that. Cystic fibrosis primarily affects the lungs and pancreas, digestive problems with it, and they do treatments to keep themselves healthy, and that's what this is about, is raising money so that we can find a cure and to lengthen their lives. And
things are progressing in a very good way in terms of research, right?
They really are. Not only research, but clinical trials. They just came out just recently in June with some tremendous positive results on the studies. So the drugs to help them almost negate this disease with those are right around the corner.
And we want that cystic fibrosis that we represent as CF, we want that CF to stand for Cure Found.
Tonight is a great night. It almost didn't happen for a couple of reasons, right, Rob?
Well, for many reasons, yeah. It almost didn't happen. And the poorhouse called me after seeing Boyd's report and said, hey, you can have our place for the whole day.
That is so awesome. And things just started happening.
I got dozens and dozens of emails. We had, over $1,000 in donations from random people around the country. And I got a call from Scott's company, not the company that I use their product, but this is a different company. They came forward and said, well, we're going to replace the lawn. We're going to make sure that it's beautiful next year for your next event. We're also going to make it possible to bring in a headliner such as Bret Michaels.
Oh my gosh. I hope you guys can relax and enjoy a little bit of tonight, because I know it's been a whirlwind.
I'm trying. It's hard. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of people, and it's funny when everybody knows me and I want to give them all time, but it's nearly impossible. But I am enjoying it.
I love that kind of applause. Thank you.
Well, congratulations on this awesome event. Way to go. You didn't give up the faith, and here we are at the Poorhouse with a great turnout tonight. So, woo, woo, right?
Yes, exactly. My words.
Thanks for coming out. Hey, it's great to be here. So let's check out more with the Poorhouse and the Breathe Easy Music Fest tonight. Woo! So happy to have with us a couple of the bands performing tonight. We have Elijah Adams and Tim Mahoney. What do you guys enjoy most about performing live in a venue like the Poorhouse?
Just people enjoying live music, keeping it, keeping it real, coming out and still supporting the scene. It's
you've been doing this for over 10 years, right?
That could be correct.
We're not saying.
Yeah, it's been a while, but
yeah.
I just follow him around. Well, he goes into a club and then I
follow everybody around. Now, Tim, I have to say, the voice, robbed. You were robbed.
Robbed. They cheated me out, right?
What was that experience like for you?
Long and stressful. But it's all good, it never hurts to be on TV if you're selling music. So it was sort of a game, the whole process, but it's a good thing. It never hurts to do it.
Also, we do what's called Acoustic Sunset Guild with myself, Shannon Libra. He's with the Moose Knuckle Brothers Band. They've won a lot of awards down at Famous Dave's. Yeah. And then also Cole Allen from the Cole Allen Band, coleallen.net. He's performing here with his group, and he also does the Acoustic Sunset Guild with us. We're trying to recruit Tim with us.
Tim, let's get a commitment.
I'll do it right now. Here's my song. Come on, Acoustic Sunset. Let's get it.
Woo! Huh? That sounds good to me.
That's wonderful.
Thank you guys for coming out on this great night for a great cause. I know Rob and his family are just really touched by all the outpouring of giving and help and everything to make this happen.
If I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Thank you.
We're outside the Poorhouse, actually outside of Bret Michaels' bus. We're hoping to get on, but I know someone who is going to get on. His name is Manny Pace. He's with the Scott's Company. How do you feel tonight about this whole thing?
Oh, we're really excited to be helping out Rob and his family and moreover the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. We saw Rob's story. We just had to step up. It's something that's part of our culture in the company is to try to reach out in our communities, and I happen to be local, and we pointed it out, and the company just ran with it.
It's really a super unique situation because you actually could play a huge role. You reseeded his whole lawn.
Yes, we actually just did that this Wednesday, and we're hoping that this event is back outside, back in the yard next summer. We've got a lot of plans to try and help him get there and make sure that the lawn is just gorgeous for next year.
Hey, Brett. So how are you doing tonight? Good. How are you? Nice. I'm doing great, man. I'm Rob. Hi, I'm Brett. Nice. You're welcome. Thank you for having us. It's going to be great tonight. It's going to be awesome. For me, because I've been diabetic since I've been 6 years old, right? You know what I mean? And I tell people it's not just what you can do; it's do what you can when you can. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully tonight we're going to get some big money for the guitars and for everything, and let people have a great time, but also understand the struggle. You know what I mean? And,
I do. AJ and Jake have cystic fibrosis. This is my son Jake here.
How you both doing? I met you when you come in. Very nice to see you.
AJ is visually impaired.
Nice to see you.
AJ was diagnosed at 10 months, which is very late for cystic fibrosis.
Gotcha.
Nearly died. He lost his vision and has some serious other problems with it.
Right.
I don't know if you know this part, but most CF patients get diabetes.
Gotcha. I
So
just met
that's a
another
huge
one who
part
had
of
a
it.
woman who had come in. It was both diabetic and cystic fibrosis.
Right,
both.
right. So, you know, we're on the same team there too.
Right.
So we appreciate it.
You got it.
Honestly.
Well, I'm honored to do this, and we're going to make it, besides making it fun and making it a good time, it's also, and I said this, in making awareness, it's such a double-edged sword, because there's a part of you that's passionate about what you're doing, and then the other part is making people aware, and then making it enough fun that they want to spend their money.
Yes.
I mean, they have to have fun, because if they're not having fun, at some point they don't want to open up the checkbook. Yep. And that's the reason we're here in the end, is to, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Do the best we can.
We got a bunch of people in there waiting to, you know, waiting to hear you and hang out. And,
that's great.
You know, we've had an amazing event so far, but you're topping it off, and we
Thank you very well. You're very. I'm honored to do, and I'll tell you what. We're done. We're gonna have fun. I'm gonna take that guitar, the one I got on stage, the custom one. We're gonna get money for that. We haven't had any so far that have been unsuccessful.
Well,
you know what I mean?
just appreciate the fact that you use your fame and your power for such good work.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just awesome that you're here. Thank you so much. And I know you come to Minnesota quite a bit.
They can't get rid of me.
I know.
As it's on, come on, just like here tonight. As it's down, just like here now. So you say song.
It's amazing how things work out sometimes, and we're so happy for Rob and his family and for the great contribution and efforts made on behalf of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Very cool indeed. Now, what's also cool is that the League of Women Voters White Bear Lake area recently held a candidate fair, and we were there. Reporter Mary Klein and photographer Scott Jensen take us there in this Local Image segment.
I do think there is political will out there.
If we want the land, we got to buy it.
But when he got out of the service, then he came back and he called my mother from San Diego.
We're having a candidates fair. We hope people will come and in a low-key way get to meet and get to know the candidates who are running for their districts and find out what is their district first.
Well, I think we came tonight because we know we've been placed into a new district with a new number, and we have new candidates, and this was a chance to see them and talk to them and ask questions.
Thank you for your service.
Trying to meet the candidates. Know a few of them, but a lot of them we don't know. And of course, this redistricting makes it another game.
I enjoy helping the voters learn about their candidates, helping them learn about how the government works, how to lobby, how to learn about issues. A lot of people don't know that in between the elections, we study issues.
We give the check to the federal government.
I am part of a MICA group, which is the Metropolitan Interfaith Coalition on Affordable Housing. So I need to ask candidates what they see as their position on affordable housing and how they can help make it more available.
Things that bother me about our position as a government, you know, is that we are not doing enough for our kids. And we've pushed off too much debt and responsibility to them.
And I think if you voted, you have an obligation to let the elected person, whether you voted for them or not, know where you stand.
I'd be glad to introduce people to the League of Women Voters. Anyone can be a member. You don't have to be invited. You don't have to be a woman. You don't have to be of voting age. You can be associate members. We'd love to have people join our group.
We want to encourage our Ramsey Washington cable viewers to stay tuned to On Location TV 19 and Government Television Network Channel 16 for upcoming candidate forums, Meet the Candidate programming, and our live election night coverage on November 6th. Now, let's turn to an interview that I did with a local author set on saving students of all ages from the common pitfalls when it comes to use of the English language. The book is called Irregardless Ain't a Word, and I joined him, appropriately enough, inside the library at Mahtomedi Middle School.
Kind of the overarching theme of the book is that, you know, modern communication technology isn't always necessarily our friend. And, you know, both in the way that we write and in the way that we speak, I think that, you know, things like spell check and autocorrect functions on smartphones have really, you know, taken the art of communication out of, you know, something that was a centerpiece of how we communicated in the past. You know, this book, by my friend Patrick and I, started collecting emails with these mistakes that we would get from people, and we would, you know, send them back and forth to each other, and we'd get kind of a laugh out of it. And all of a sudden we realized we had like 500 or 600 of these emails, and these are coming from really, you know,
top
business
level.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we thought, you know, we got to do something with this, and we started looking, and there's dictionaries out there with all these different, you know, type of mistakes that people make. But, you know, the bottom line is, you know, these type of mistakes probably aren't that important to a lot of people, but to people who are decision makers, like those who are in the business of hiring folks or in the business of selecting kids for colleges, these can be make or break mistakes.
Absolutely, right. And we were talking before we started taping about how this kind of started. And tell that story about how you and Patrick were in the car.
Well, Patrick and I were, the title of the book, Irregardless Ain't a Word, Patrick and I were in the car driving to something, and a former Minnesota Vikings head coach was on there, and he used the word irregardless 3 or 4 times during an interview. And we kind of looked at each other and thought, I don't think that that's a word. And if it is, he's using it way too often.
It is in the dictionary, but they say it's considered a non-standard word. So. And
that's what's kind of funny. I think that the dictionary continues to evolve to. I think what it's doing is it's protecting us from our own stupidity,
right.
Our own mistakes.
It's adapting more and more, I think, to just kind of our laziness, isn't it?
It
really?
is. That's a great description. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and what's kind of fun about the book is it addresses a serious topic. The book has about 100
characters.
It's got some fun characters. It's told in kind of a mini novel story. It's illustrated by a local illustrator named Steve Harmon, who's a terrific artist. But it's got, you know, over 100 what we call homonyms, you know, things like the difference between accept with an A and accept with an E. But in addition to the written mistakes that aren't necessarily going to be picked up by spell check, there's a bunch of, you know, spoken ones. You know, spoken ones, like people that use the word especially.
Yes.
You know, there is no X in especially. You know, supposedly.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
I know,
but
it's so funny. I was telling our photographer on the way over here, I said, I know someone who always says scared. I was so scared. I was just really scared. I'm like, scared.
Well,
but it must come from afraid, and people just kind of mix them up or something,
Well,
right?
we're writing the second book right now.
Oh, really?
And what's been fun about this is people will send us examples. You know, one I got yesterday was the difference between the word recurrence and reoccurrence.
Oh my
Reoccurrence is not a word.
Okay.
Recurrence is a word. And this happens to be this person's pet peeve. So, you know, that's one that, you know, what we do is we take these and we weave them into the story.
Okay.
And what's fun about the book, and I don't know if this is something we can show on camera, but as an example, the way that the story is told, it's told through the eyes of these characters, Chip and Chaz, and they're a couple of special agents that were hired by this new government agency. And the way that the book works is on the left-hand side of the book is like an email, and it's corrected. You know, I need some advice. You know, that's a mistake that we see often. And the Sister Scholastica, I went to Catholic schools growing up. I had to have my ode to the sisters.
Sure.
She corrects these mistakes with her infamous red pen. And over here it explains the difference between those words.
That is so awesome. So obviously adults will benefit from this. What's been the reaction of kids?
The kids have had a lot of fun with it. And when you're talking about grammar specifically, they don't want to learn about grammar. So we look at this book as kind of a way to trick kids into recognizing the fact that these things exist.
Absolutely.
And that, you know, you have to be careful and have to be on the lookout for these kind of mistakes because they happen often.
Right.
And you know,
increasingly,
oh,
because
absolutely.
of our texting and just the shorthand of style of our writing these days, I think.
And I think that creating the awareness is what's most important.
We'll close out today's show with a summer event celebrated all around our communities, and it's one that looks to have a lasting impact all year long. It's National Night Out 2012. Until next month, I'm Judy Skyvoss, and as always, I do thank you for watching Local Image.
Well, today we are doing National Night Out, our night to reunite. So we're out getting neighbors together, families together, communities together.
This is McGruff.
Since we've started this back in 2005, that I would say 90% of the neighbors are coming back. So I think that's a good thing to say.
And it just shows how much of a community we've become. Yes, we've gotten to know so many more people than what we normally would have.
Mark Jenkins. Nice to meet you too. My wife and I have lived here for 6 years, and we loved it because it is a community. It's one of these neighborhoods where you get, what, 75, 80% of the neighbors are all here.
Wanna go up there?
That's what's cool about it, is it builds community in Maplewood.
My personal philosophy is that one of the best crime fighters in any city is the citizens. They know their neighbors, they know when their neighbor's on vacation, and they're the eyes and ears. They're the ones that call us and say, hey, my neighbor's house is I know they're on vacation and the lights are on, and that's not normal. And I think this is kind of the time that they really, it kind of culminates and kind of comes together, and we say as a city that, you know, crime, we're not going to take it.
Sometimes people associate cops with that bad aspect. So it's great to get out and meet the people in our communities and see them on a different aspect.
You want me to do it?
This is a community effort. The neighbors came over last night. They were up to 11:30 setting up tables. So this isn't just, this is the whole community getting together and doing this event.